Hello everyone, my name is Stump and I will be doing some Crash to 100% once we get out of the demo. And yes, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to hit new game, we'll go through an opening cutscene and time will start when I gain control and I will count down to that. Cortex screams. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, start time. So we'll start by going right into level 2 Snow Go. So this is a standard platforming level, so, well, it would help if I did my initial slide the right way. So already we've got a couple things we're doing there. We slid next to a TNT so that we would explode it, but be far enough away from it when it did explode that we wouldn't get hurt by it. Then we gotta clear this little ice patch out if Crash would slide the right way. There we go. Now we can get on with this. So, the movement that I'm doing here is the neutral slide spin, where I slide and then let go of the directional button and then spin. What that does is let me keep the slide speed through the spin while still letting the slide cooldown timer run out, so I can continuously move at slide speed. Let's try that again. There we go. And that was a glitch high jump where I do a slide jump but spin immediately after jumping. That makes me go a little bit higher, high enough to get that red gem that is intended to be just barely out of reach. There's another reason why my jumps are going to be a little bit higher than you might be used to, and that is that I am playing on the PAL version of the game. The conversion factors for adapting to the frame rate weren't. In some cases, we're slightly off. So Crash moves a tiny bit faster, jumps a little bit higher. Also has a slightly larger hitbox for some reason. Especially for body slamming. We'll get to, well, we'll have some fun with that in certain types of levels that are coming up. So this is 100%, so in addition to getting all the crystals and beating all the bosses, I need to get all the gems. And I also need to get all 5 of the secret exits from the various levels that can take me to the secret warp room. And each one of those does count as percent, so they are all needed, even though some of them aren't, well, wouldn't otherwise actually be needed because we can sequence break into some of the parts of the levels that would normally be stuck behind those. And you may notice that I have not broken a single box in this level. And that is because of the special thing that you have to do to get the blue gem. And that is to get to the end of this level without breaking a single box. But now that we have that, we can death warp back to the beginning of the level and do it in the more usual way. So getting a collectible item means that that does remain collected even if you die and return to a checkpoint before you picked it up. That comes in very useful when there are branching paths with multiple items. Also, there's this thing. A few levels, and this is one of them, just have a secret path hidden in some way. And with the glitch high jump, I don't really have to worry too much about the ostriches putting their heads down because I can still make the jumps off of them. Then we have the bonus here that's, this one's short, sweet, and to the point. Just those 5 boxes and that's it. And that bouncy box was the key to getting past that without breaking boxes when I was trying to get the blue gem. And there we are, getting all the boxes this time for that clear gem. So every level that has boxes in it will have a gem for breaking all of them, so I will need to, in some capacity, break all of the boxes in each level. The extra gems are for, well, in levels that have them, because not all do, are just for some additional challenge of some kind that is in the level. And for the colored ones, it's something sort of hidden or something that's supposed to be obscure. So anyway, here we are in Crash Dash, where we are moving toward the camera and running away from some boulders. So those boulders will, in most cases, break boxes that I leave behind, but there are a few things to watch out for with that. Also, that tumbling animation that I got, ideally you can avoid that with with being at the proper time in your neutral slide spin cycle when you're going through those little buildings. Here's where there's that little asterisk on the boulder breaking everything. Those nitros had to be on screen at the time the boulder hit them to break. So I did need to hang back a bit to ensure that the nitros actually would break. Okay. Alright, that worked out. Yeah, when suspended bouncy boxes like that do not do what I want them to do, things can get a bit treacherous. So at the end of each boulder level, well, we'll be coming up to this one soon, but there are typically a few boxes that you need to do. Well, oh, am I going to get the double tumble? Okay, good, I didn't. Yeah, but those last few boxes, I did actually need to go and break myself because the boulder will bounce over them. And that's sort of to provide a final challenge for casual completion, to be far enough above the boulder that you, in front of the boulder, that you can break those boxes and just barely escape. Anyway, here we are in Hang 8. We're going up a river. And there's an additional gem in this. You may have noticed that a timer has just appeared. If I can get to the end of the level before that timer runs out, I get that extra gem. And this timer is set so that, like, sort of continuous casual running speed will just barely get you there. So we will, of course, be doing a little bit better than that. And you may have noticed that I did not break any checkpoints after that first one. That's because you can only get one end-of-level gem at a time. So after I get this gem, I am going to need to death warp and then get back to the end of this level, breaking all boxes to get the other gem. And that starts with doing the bonus. Now, watch my box count carefully at the bottom of the screen. Oh, I did not move away from that fast enough for the desired effect to happen. So what I was attempting to do was get that TNT far enough off screen that it would explode for that reason instead of for its timer running out. And that would cause the TNT not to break boxes around it based on its actual position, but to break boxes around it based on its original position. So that bouncy box high up in the air would be blown up by that TNT, even though it was on the ground. Well, better for it to happen here than after I return to the main part of the level. So that platform takes us to the blue gem path. And, well, that's why we got the blue gem first. There are boxes along here, so you're not getting the box gem in this level without the blue gem. And there are a few levels that work this way with one of the particular color gems. Ooh, that's going to... Oh, now I'm going to have to hit that third one with the speed boost also. I think I can make it work like this. If I could have done a speed boost there, that would have worked nicely. There we are. So that's the blue gem path. That also has the nitro switch for this level. And now we have safely gotten that checkpoint, so we don't need to worry about having to, if nasty things happened, redo that blue gem path and deal with those ramps that weren't the most cooperative. Yeah, but here we are at the end of the level with all of the boxes, so there's the other gem. So now, the last level in this warp room is the pits. This is, sort of something in the style of Turtle Woods, but with a bit more emphasis on... Oh. Right. Make sure that blew everything up. It did. Okay. A bit more emphasis on those pits that have... enemies that seem like they might be some sort of rat spawn in them, and once you beat enough of them, they spawn a trampoline to get you out. It's one of those things where they put the escape from that just barely out of reach, so the glitch high jump makes you not have to deal with any of those. So there's a branching path in this level. There is this switch box here that spawns some boxes on the other half. But there's a decently sized portion of the right side that doesn't have boxes on it. Pretty much from those two boxes, I initially went ahead and broke up to the checkpoint that I will be backtracking to. So that and the switchbacks there are why we handle the branching path here the way we do. Also, those purple birds, you can't damage them from the side, but if you're spinning, they'll just knock you away. So what I was trying to do was sort of just jump to just clear them and then spin to extend my hitbox backwards a little bit to get knocked forward by the bird. And then this bonus has some boxes earlier that are spawned by this, so I gotta do that and then head back. This is one of those pits that you're just barely out of glitch high jump, well, barely out of ordinary jump range for, but the glitch high jump will get you out of there. But that is 5 levels finished, and that means it is time for the first boss. So the first boss we will be fighting here is Ripperoo. The patterns here are completely fixed, so this is essentially an auto-scroller. So I'll take this moment to say, really hope you've been enjoying watching Pace so far. I got a fun time being here. And don't forget that we are here raising some money for Urban Arts. So good cause, and for any donations that happen during this, well, I'll be the one reading them out, and I would really love to have some material to read. Alright, there's our final pattern. Time the body slam nicely. There's no point in that, it's just something to do. Yeah, but that's our first boss finished, so it's a fifth of the game done. So we'll start with a new type of level, where we will be taking a ride on Polar. So Polar continuously moves forward. That means if I happen to miss a box, hopefully I will not, but there are a few troublesome arrangements of boxes in this level. This is one of them, but yeah, the right thing happened. But it means that if I do happen to miss a box, I will have to death warp back to the previous checkpoint. This level type also has what I feel are some of the best death animations in the game. Hopefully we will not be seeing any of them. So there was that one troublesome box arrangement earlier, but we're coming up to the more infamous one. But the right thing happened. Oh! Okay. I did not expect my slide to continue past the nitro switch, but we saved that. Oh. I see chat mentioning Ice Cube Crash being one of the good death animations. Yeah, it is a pretty nice one. I like the one with the whales where Crash does the bog standard angel floating upwards, but with Polar under his arm. So we have another boulder level here, and we have some new obstacles here, such as those electric barriers that I just went under. Both sliding and spinning do shorten Crash's hitbox enough to pass under them, at least in this level. In Unbearable, the spinning part is not good enough. You must be on the slide part. The gates are a little tiny bit lower. Here's some more nitros that we have to ensure are on screen when the boulder hits them. And we did avoid that tumbling animation there. Yep. More nitros, more needing to make sure the boulder still hits them. One of the nice things about sliding is that if you slide off of a ledge and down a pile of boxes, you can very neatly just break all of them in one shot. There's the crystal, can't forget that. And the final boulder chase in this level. So you'll notice the game being quite generous with those boost pads here. And that is because, well, there's some time-consuming, especially for casual player, boxes at the end, much like there were in the previous one. Also, we move, well, the ice increases the speed of our movement enough to, well, that the gem hasn't landed to let us grab it by the time we get there. So we gotta hang back a bit for it. So now it is time for the eel deal. It's a sewer level, a type of level we haven't seen before. Here, the main sort of theme of these is these pools of water that are periodically electrified by an eel, and of course you will take some damage if you are in them when they are electrified. So there was that room full of nitros that didn't seem particularly useful, so that was the game's clue that what looked like a solid door at the back is not. We took that hit on purpose so that we could do that. Death warping back to the beginning of that, now that we have the green gem. With really, really top-tier movement, it actually is faster to backtrack to the beginning of that, but I'm not at that level. And death warping's so much easier, too. Making more use of sliding down onto a large pile of boxes. Anyway, time to take some advantage of the body slam hitbox on PAL. You can body slam 4 stacks of boxes in a row with the PAL body slam hitbox. I was hoping to land on the nitro and not the water because you don't get immobilized by the damage animation when you take a hit from a nitro using a mask. Oh. Look how slow Crash is moving along this hanging grid. Wouldn't it be nice if there were a way to move along it faster? Oh. Okay. There is such a way that we will be able to make use of in a level in Warp Room 4. Alright, and there we go. So here is Snowbiz, another snow level. Yeah, this one is a lot more ice than the previous one had. It's also got sliding penguins rather than seals. And it's got these porcupines. So with casual movement speed, these will get their spikes completely out before you get to them. And once that happens, even spinning into them or things like that will damage you. But they cannot complete that process when you approach at neutral side spin speed, so we don't have to worry as much about those. Alright, gotta make sure all the proper off-screen box breaks happen, that box count is correct. So here, this red gem path, really all it contains is a whole bunch of boxes. It also has those crushers that are on a stricter timer than the ones anywhere else in the game, because if you don't slide out from under them, you will not make it under them before they come down. Oh! Okay, well, my right index finger slipped onto the R1 button, so I entered that pit like I really meant it. It's one of the troublesome things about the body slam is that it's on the same button as sliding, so there have been, every Crash Runner has body slams a few times when not intending to. It's just a thing that happens. Oh. You can see that sliding plus, well, neutral slide spinning plus ice equals very fast Bandicoot. I do not usually make it completely past those boxes before they spawn. There's another example of sliding right next to a TNT but away from it to immediately explode it without it hurting you. That is 4 of our 5 levels for this second warp room. So this last level here in this warp room is the only one we actually have to enter twice. And the reason for that is that it has a secret entrance, but due to the way that that secret entrance works, you can't break into it other than the intended way. And the entrance to that is in a later warp room. So we need to leave the box gem for a revisit. There's also a specific reason that I am not breaking any checkpoints other than that first one. So we'll use this first visit to get the gem for the death route. So I believe this is the first death route we've encountered. These platforms appear if you have reached them without having died since you entered the level. and they just provide some sort of challenging path to do, generally with a gem at the end. So there's that gem, and rather than going all the way out, we'll just clip through the scenery and death warp that way. So anyway, here we are back at that first checkpoint. There's that platform there. Oh, interesting. So that is our first place where we're entering the secret warp room. So we can't get back out of it without going into a level and then exiting it or finishing it. So that opened up this portal to Snowgo, which is the intended way to get the red gem, by completing the path this leads to, and then you drop down through it. But who needs that when you have the glitch high jump? Anyway, here we are at the second boss, the Komodo brothers. So one will send the other spinning around the room. Eventually the other brother stops. I apply some spin. Damage occurs. And a whole lot of knives get thrown. Repeat twice. So on this third phase, there's the added complication of Komodo Mo throwing some knives at you. Whoa! Okay, I had really bad positioning there. Normally there isn't that much bouncing if I put myself in a good position. Anyway, welcome to Warp Room 3. So we'll start with Road to Ruin. This is one of the ruin type levels. These are mostly a bottomless pit with a bunch of platforms in them. And just a jump that we're not supposed to be able to make to get us back into what I am supposed to require a secret entrance to get. Anyway, here we are back at the main part of the level. So that secret entrance, the only real purpose it has is to give you access to those 32 boxes that are there. So here's a death route platform, but we don't need it. Because we have a slide jump with zigzagging. I very rarely make that on my first try. Let's see if we can make this. Nice. So the intended way to bridge that gap is by hitting a chain of 3 exclamation point switch boxes. But we don't have time for that. Actually, a chain of 4 of them. It helps to actually hit the nitro switch. And there's that box gem that we're not supposed to have yet. So you can't really see it in the way that this warp room, well, is colored, but the additional gem in this level is the yellow gem. I am slightly amazed that I made that jump. I was punished for that amazement. Anyway, it's another timer gem. But we'll be playing around with that timer a little bit. Okay, that was a bit close to the center of that whirlpool, which is an insta-death. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the bonus, and we're going to exit the bonus, and then go back into it. So respawning in the main part of the level actually reset the timer for the timer gem to what it starts at. You can't see it, but it's still running. And that means that the yellow gem will be waiting for us at the end of the level still. So now we've got another waterboard section. Alright. I'm going to have to go forward and pre-kill these first. I was hoping to bring a mask here so that I could just get right on the board and get the yellow gem. I did not get the checkpoint. Okay. Well, we're going to... Well, it'll just take us a bit longer to do the box gem half of this. Yeah, so I meant to go back and get the checkpoint that I skipped before going forward and doing that to save the pre-killing of those piranha plant type things. But I forgot to do that, so I ended up back at the checkpoint before it. But anyway, that is all of the non-nitros. And there's all the nitros and the other gem. And we had to do that level before this level because this level has a yellow gem path. And it is another sewer level. And this one adds these lab assistants with blowtorches. Those have pretty wide hitboxes on their blowtorching attacks, so some of them you can squeeze around, but it's tight and precise. Anyway, here's that yellow gem path. Oh, that is not good. Yeah, normally I don't end up bouncing on that set of bouncy boxes because I land on them spinning, but I slid between them. Yeah, in the gem path, the eels continuously do their thing. There are no boxes in that gem path, just the gem, just the clear gem, so we could just grab it and get out. The nitros there can sometimes cause problems because they hop randomly, and certain timings of the hop when you're coming down onto a box on top of them will cause you to just land on the box without breaking it. Pow body slam hitbox for the win. So the bottom switch spawned a couple of boxes at the end of this branch of the path. So we had to do that first. And then we'll just use our masks to not have to wait for the lab assistants to stop waving that blowtorch around. Well, it's now time to get a bit more familiar with the particular presence of polar bears in this game, because we are going to be doing 3 bear levels in a row. Although this one has a bit of a twist to it, because we're not riding the bear, at least not yet. Instead, we're running from one, and it's a lot larger and a lot more ferocious. And we can get far enough ahead of it that we can't even see it anymore. So we'll get that checkpoint in Death Warp because that is faster than waiting for the bear to get all the way over there to open up that pit to get this little side route. But yeah, here we are. Got bullets that are somehow moving very slowly. And just a nice little side-scrolling section that is based on that. Oops. Ooh, I did not think I was that close to that nitro. Anyway, something unusual about this checkpoint, actually, is that normally when you break an extra life box, it'll just turn into a question mark box future times, but those extra life boxes that are just barely off the screen there remain extra life boxes no matter how many times you open them. Which works nicely for casually doing this because this part's really tricky. It's rare for me to have this amount of trouble with it. So I'm just gonna do that and... Okay. We're now continuing through the main part of the level. Oh, all right, we made that jump, so I didn't have to backtrack from the right side. So not much to that. That little nitro switch cluing you that there is something missing with if you haven't seen the well, but there is a side path from the very large number of boxes that it will give you, much larger than the amount that are in the bonus. Well, that scenery was, well, obstructed my jump when I wasn't expecting it to. So these electric barriers in this level are a little bit lower than the ones in Crash Dash, so I do need to actually be sliding. And, okay, it is a bear level now. Just big bear meets little bear. Oh. Huh. Not sure what happened there, but let's give that another go. I feel like I might have left a box behind thinking the bear would get it, but it off-screened. For the nitros, that's fine because there actually is a nitro switch in this level, unlike all other chase levels. At this time, we'll just be more careful about boxes that are along the chase sequences. I see that I saw the chat message suggesting that it might have been that bouncy box that I just broke. And since I ended up respawning at that checkpoint a lot more times than I ever would have wanted to, oh, we're gonna get third mask form. So yeah, that probably was the box I missed. Anyway, you may have noticed that I have not been getting third mask form, and that is because it messes a lot with the relative speeds of Crash's movement. So the neutral side spin is not as fast. A lot of other forms of movement are not as fast, but others are a lot faster than you would think they are. The fastest form... At least that was in the bonus. The fastest form of movement along ground in third mask form is actually to crawl. Believe it or not. get another meeting between Big Bear and Little Bear. $58 is a much better number than 57. Anyway, we have that gem, but we're not done yet. Let's go pay a visit to Polar. Oh, that's another secret warp room entrance. So there are 2 levels that are fully hidden within the secret warp room, and Totally Bear is one of them. And it is a bear level in the dark. It also has a few sections where you must do a speed boosted jump to get a set of boxes that are hanging in the air. No other bear level has that. So this is the level intended to force casual players to give the speed boosted jump a try. Right, other than this level being in the dark, there isn't really that much in the way of troublesome box arrangements in it. And the same is true for the level we're going to do next, Bear Down, which is another bear level. So really, I've always found that the hardest bear level in 100% is the first one. That is sort of interesting that we end the third warp room on 3 bear levels in a row. I sort of like the bear level music. Although probably one of my favorite pieces of music in this game is the jetpack level theme. Oh, that's a rather suspicious-looking large platform with a bunch of small platforms leading up to it. Let's go check it out. This is how you get to the secret entrance of Air Crash to get the box jump from it. And seeing how that is the one that shows up in the first location in the secret warp room. And, you know, that is a pretty heavy hint that you might want to go onto that platform. This is definitely the way you were intended to discover the secret warp room. So because there's an actual warp between the secret entrance path and the main path, that is why we have no choice but to make this one a revisit. Trying to go straight back, not diagonally back. And hey, where'd those nitros go? That's sort of the interesting consequences of the nitro switch being in the secret entrance. Yeah, I didn't trust that cycle. Alright, the checkpoint box should be number 88, and it is. So you're intended to go forward to this platform to pre-break those boxes, but you can also damage boost onto it. Also, well, it already blew up because we got the nitro switch in the secret entrance, but that arrangement of boxes before that first ramp there would otherwise have a nitro in it. I like to call it the any percent nitro because that's the only category where you see it. Anyway, there is our revisit done. And that also was 15 crystals, so we are ready for our third boss. Tiny the Tiger. This is probably the only real showing of RNG in this game. At some point, 3 of these platforms will drop, and then 3 other platforms will drop once I get Tiny onto one of them. And that is phase 1. Then only 2 platforms will drop, hopefully in a place where I can use them without extra bounces happening. Okay, we'll have 1 extra bounce. Okay, I'm gonna get on the edge of this so that if one of the back corners is one of the ones to drop here. Oh, the center did. Interesting. Yeah, so in the third phase, only 1 platform drops at a time. If it's a corner and you're not about to have Tiny hop onto that corner, you're gonna have to wait for the next one. Yeah, we didn't have that many more hops than there actually needed to be, so pretty decent Tiny fight. So we'll start Warp Room 4 with Ruination. It's the other ruin level. And you'll see a lot of reprisals of box arrangements that were in Road to Ruin, but with nitros mixed in. Because they wanted to do that. So that's to reset some cycles, and I should align myself with that better. And I should align myself with that even better. And I should actually spin. There we go. When I first watched runs of this and found that you could, and saw that you could spin those logs away, yeah, my mind was a bit blown because I did not know that you could do that. And because of that, I always struggled with any of these paths that had one of those. Somehow that went through me without the spin doing anything to it. there is our gem path. No boxes, just the clear gem. And we also have this bonus here, where we will, again, be taking advantage of the larger Pal Body Slam hitbox. If I can actually get on top of those. This also is a bit of an unusual bonus because more than half of the level's boxes are in it. And as we return to the main part of the level on this platform, you may notice that the travel of the platform takes just long enough for all of the boxes to count down, and for the counter to then disappear. It's almost like they wanted to... It's almost like they wanted to make extra sure that the box counter would finish counting down before you were in a place where you might end up dying by falling in a pit or something. I need that. Okay. Yeah, when I don't hit that with one of the rats, that's... Yeah, you got a one box-sized thing surrounded with a circle of moving platforms. That's... it can be a bit tricky to land on it. Anyway, the whole thing about that bonus platform counting down... that's called foreshadowing. So, yeah, because of that death, we unfortunately do not have two masks at this moment. So, we will not get the high-speed hanging grid movement in this level. But that's just how things are. Ooh. No, if that happened, I probably would have ended up losing a mask anyway. Okay, watch my box count to make sure that all of those break. All of them did. So, I wanted to get third mask form off of that mask box because then Crash moves a lot faster across these in third mask form. And I don't have to worry about the movement cycles of these things. It always feels so good to body slam down that huge stack of boxes. So here's the end of the level, but we're not quite done here. Because there's another way we can go from that checkpoint. And you got these lower flying spike ball things that Crash needs to pull his legs up to get past. This is the only place in the game where that move on hanging grids is relevant. They kept it in Crash 3 for some reason, even though Crash 3 doesn't make use of that mechanic at all. Anyway, that was a secret warp room entrance that gives us the other fully secret level, Totally Fly, where it's dark and we need fireflies to light our way. So these fireflies are timed to last pretty much exactly as long as it would take with continuous casual intended movement to get to the next one. So the overlap that you see in how long one lasts after I've gotten the next one provides a nice little visualization of how much time we're saving with the neutral slide spin. Also, the bonus is dark. And instead of the firefly following us like in the main part of the level, it's just moving at a fixed speed. We don't have time to wait for that stuff. We'll just break this pile of boxes, explore forward here, make sure that we get to 16. Didn't jump far enough, but I always like completing that in the dark. And body slamming takes a while. We gotta deal with these beforehand. It's 2, 3. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, this is always a troublesome part for me when I was a kid. But anyway, that is Totally Fly. I like the chat discussion of how Crash is able to spin while hanging from the hanging grid. Okay, so that thing I mentioned about boxes counting down when you are exiting a bonus. If you have 100% of this game casually, you may remember just how annoying this level is to deal with. Because it's got a death route and a main part of the level that the death route skips, and there are boxes on both, and there is an exclamation point switch at the end of the death route that spawns some boxes at the beginning of it, so you have to backtrack to it. Okay, yeah, let's not do the bonus yet. But you may have noticed I did not get that. What am I getting stuck on? Okay, now that's a lot better. So let's explore this a little bit. That's enough exploration of the death route. Okay. Oh wait, we left that bonus behind, so let's do that. Let's see, that should be 5 boxes. That should be 9, 10, 11, 12. That box off screen at the top just eluded me as a kid. When I found out that was there. That finally solved a great mystery as to why I could never get the box gem here. Anyway, yeah, we have broken 72 boxes and just started the level. So until we hit a checkpoint, those boxes are volatile and will go away if I were to not make it to that checkpoint. But now we're safe. So we have duplicated all of the boxes in the level between the beginning and when I turned back to do the bonus. Not the ones in the bonus, but those ones other than that. And that means we don't have to do both paths. However, we will do the death route because A, it's faster, and B, we still need the clear gem at the end of it. And it's kind of annoying to slow down to get those 2 boxes up in the air, so we'll just not get them. So any percent categories actually do the death route because, as I was saying, it is faster, but jump over the gem at the end so that you don't waste time in the warp room. Once I was doing a 100% run after doing a lot of no-go, and did the dupe, got all the way to the end of the death route and very carefully jumped over the gem. That was a moment. You may also have noticed I did not break the last box in that stack. That is because you have to land on exactly the number of boxes that you're supposed to have for the box gem to spawn. So I had to land on exactly 155. 156 will not do. So here we are in another new type of level, digging it. You notice some explosive fruit being spit by those piranha plant-looking things, and spinning protects you from the explosions of those. So if I'm jumping and about to land near one of the exploding fruit, you may notice that I am spinning. That's just to protect me if my timing isn't good. This works on a lot of things, but those exploding fruit are probably the most visible example of it. I'm slightly amazed I didn't take a hit there. Okay, there should be 4 more of those. Okay, that's the right box count. It is possible to duplicate boxes off of this one and save a little tiny bit of effort in the death route here. In particular, the 2 boxes I'm going to go forward and get and then backtrack out of this thing, because there are boxes on the other side too. But you actually, well, the only thing you can do your death abuse in is a pit, and there is a random chance of whether or not Crash's shoes bounce out of the pit as part of the death animation. And if that happens, the counter will finish counting down so you don't end up duplicating the boxes. So you're relying on favorable RNG. So we have started to encounter some bees. So the way those work is each hive has a zone where the bees will attack you that extend up to some upcoming pit. So the bees, only one bee comes out at a time, and it moves not all that fast. So you can generally outrun them even casually. But they do provide that darker colored ground that you can burrow under if you spin on top of it. The neutral side spin doesn't count towards that for some reason, which works out well for us because that animation holds of Crash entering or exiting the underground state on top of that ground holds Crash in place for a while and is also really, really, really slow. Anyway, that's a weird-looking platform that piranha plant thing on the left was on, isn't it? Hoping to leave this thing alive so that I can get the death animation from it when I death warp back to the checkpoint. Oh, I kept 2 masks. I should not have kept 2 masks if I'm going to death warp. Anyway, we have our items from this level. And that is our final entrance to the secret warp room. Gives us the Road to Ruin portal, which we don't need because we were able to backtrack into it to get the box gem in that level. So instead of going into that and exiting level, we're actually going to do that in Totally Fly. And the reason for that is that doing that from Totally Fly respawns us from the level that contained the secret warp room entrance to Totally Fly. Oh, right, I have another level to do. So that just saves us some warp room movement. Wait. Yeah, this, for some reason I thought I had entered Digging It. So this is Behaving. So it's sort of a more dressed up version of Digging It. You may notice the beehives are larger. You may notice a lot more buzzing. You may notice, if any were to catch up to me on the screen, that the bees are moving a lot faster, and that there are more of them. Oh, if one of those had hit that chain of nitros, I thought I spun before I hit the ground, but I did not. Anyway, the bees move a lot faster. So, casually, the bees will get you if you do not burrow under the ground. As a speedrunner, though, we can still outrun those by neutral slide spinning. Oh, that's a lot of nitros there. You sort of wonder why there would just be a staircase of nitros that don't seem to be hopping. Let's go check it out. After we respawn from that. Yeah, you're always really close with that particular beehive. Like, I sometimes see the bees come out of it and then go right back in once I am back before the beginning of the bee zone. Okay, how I landed on top of that without it hitting me is beyond me, but I won't argue with it. Anyway, we have this little side path here. And a purple gem. And a whole lot more of that side path that is completely pointless. if you get to the end of it, all you get is a portal to slightly earlier in the level. I once, as a sub-incentive, did made up a category called Path Less Traveled that went through all of those paths that you never see in any category. And that was one of them. All right, hopefully one of the bees will hit the switch. It did. 92 is the correct number. 20 levels are complete. Time for the next boss. And the boss we will be fighting here is Engine. So since we're on the PAL version, Engine will be moving slower because that was not adjusted for the frame rate difference. But all that does is... Oh, I lost count of hits on the hands. Yeah, just do that, hope for the best! I did not get double hands, so I'm gonna have to go through another cycle of that, and that other hand is going to gain some health. Oh well. Anyway, with the rate that I can still shoot fruit, plus the slower PAL movement of Engine, it's a lot easier to one cycle the various phases. Okay, 2 and 4. 3 and 4. Okay. Alright, at least we got double shoulders. That's the more annoying one to deal with not getting. Also, firing fruit doesn't reset Crash's idle animation timer. So, final warp room. Just 5 levels left. So we'll start with a new type of level. A jetpack level. I really like the music from them. It is possible to skip the jetpack in these. There's some special things you have to do to break all the boxes. And also, hitting certain enemies in that state of being in this without the jetpack will crash the game. So, in the name of marathon safety, we're not doing that. And that, what I just did there, well, you can just deliver the first hit and then push right on through, and that plasma field isn't actually there. That is a PAL exclusive trick. And all you gotta do is deliver that first hit and then push for, and then just gun it. The unfortunate part is the plasma field can obscure boxes that are just past it and cause me to occasionally forget that they're there. So many runs I've ended up finishing a jetpack level with 1 box short. don't have the mask I normally have here. Okay, we're good. We're good. 17, I believe, is the right number. All right. One level done. Now, with the nitro switches at the end of the jetpack levels, you can actually hit it and continue forward fast enough that it unloads before it actually explodes the nitros. So you gotta make sure that that you don't get too far away from it before that happens. So here we are in Spaced Out, another new type of level. I don't know why I'm breaking the boxes here because I'm going to be doing a gem path and then death warping. But here we are in the Spaced Out gem path. It took the blue gem to get in here, but this one actually requires all of the colored gems. Also, 3D jumping around the pistons is a wonderful thing. Yeah, these levels are all about the piston cycles. Also, you can spin those shrink rays, and I don't know why I jumped there when there was that enemy there. I should have just slid. Third time's the charm. So sort of like spinning the logs, spinning the shrink ray particles is another... Oh, really? Is another thing that I did not know was possible until I started watching runs of this game. One of the tasks of this game, in some way, I don't remember the details, uses Crash's fully shrunken form, somehow interrupting the death. I did not expect to be able to jump out of that pit. That's what happened there. The things that happen when actually doing this in a marathon. I've never had this much trouble with this section. All right, finally we're through that. Thanks for the belief. It means a lot. Oh. If I had made that jump too early, I would have been unbelievably sad. Oh yes, and we have these lab assistants with the shields. And they're wonderful screams that they make when you knock them into a pit. All right, now we can actually do the level. So we'll see more piston cycles and things of that nature. More 3D jumps. So we're now behind a pane of glass. We can also glitch high jump onto these things. And that bounces us high enough to get on top of the glass, and we can just neutral slide spin along the glass. And at least that was right after a checkpoint. Yeah. I often get there on a cycle where I can just barely squeeze between the lava lamps and the enemy, so I was expecting to be able to do that again there, but that did not work out. All right, that is the bonus. The chat comparison about the scream's not one I'm familiar with because I haven't played the game in question. Also, these enemies, they have they have a dangerous neck, which is what is intended to make you need to slide them, but for some reason sliding down from the top works, as you may have seen after that last checkpoint, even though their head is also dangerous to the point of not letting you jump on them. Anyway, now that we are through that level, there is another level of this type to do. And yeah, we'll see what happens with how spaced out went. Particularly because this level has a death route with boxes in it, and has boxes in the level after the death route platform, so I need to go forward and get those and then backtrack. And if I die at all, I'm going to need to re-enter the level because then the death route platform will not be there. Oh, right. This is the tutorial of sorts on these things, so the first couple of them don't actually lower their arms. I am not feeling good about not having masks here. Okay, now I feel a bit better. Death Flare Out platform's still there. Yeah. Since as a kid I did not know that you could spin the shrink ray particles, well, a particular part of the backtrack that we'll be doing soon was always very troublesome for me. I should have left a box here so I could bounce off of it onto the piston. All right, that is that. Just a little bit more of the main part of the level. Then we can go do that death route. Backtracking across this was the thing I always had trouble with as a kid. Also enjoy more screams. that is the last box in the main part of the level, so time to go do the death route. If I got stuck under there, I would have been so sad. Anyway, we have landed on the death route platform, so even if we die before the checkpoint in here, the platform will still be there for us. And we're behind another pane of glass. Luckily, this one provides a shield lab assistant a lot earlier, so we can take a lot more advantage of neutral slide spinning along the top of the glass. And that is what we have to go through to get the box gem in this level. Yeah, just 2 more levels remain. And so we are Night Fight, the non-secret, dark, like, forest-type level. The same thing sort of applies here with the Firefly timing and... Oh, I did not actually hit that other Firefly. I hope there weren't any boxes along there. I don't remember whether there are. This box count looks right. Oh, what am I doing? So I see a chat question. How long have I been running the game? The first time I actually did a run of this was in 2015. But it took a bit for me to have like Crash games really start to become one of my main speed games. Now that stack of 2 boxes on top of a nitro, that can be a bit of an annoyance because there's a decent chance if you try and spin the boxes in the middle a certain way that they'll be treated as the nitro exploding without the nitro exploding. Yeah, I got my start in like serious speedrunning on actually the early gen Pokemon games in 2014. I picked up Spyro since that was a game I always played a lot as a kid, and even timed 120% completions before I knew that speedrunning was a larger thing. I didn't end up really doing any optimizations or like actual routing effort or anything, but when I found the community was turns out that was all the boxes. Good. Yeah. Discovering the community around speedrunning after having done those things was very nice. So we have one more level here. What brought me to Crash 2 in this series? well, once I get this level going, I'll say more about that. Let's see here. So this is the last level in this, well, that we'll be doing in this run. It's another jetpack level. Hopefully, there's a set of boxes where I occasionally forget one of them. Hopefully that will not happen. So what brought me to Crash 2 is probably that, well, of the three, it was, it had been my favorite to play for a while, for a long time. And PAL specific skips for the win. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be number 18. And it has features that make it a speedrun that I find more pleasant to do than 1 or 3. As 1 has those gems where you need to break all the boxes without dying and returning to a checkpoint, and 3 has the time trials, which just drag on. And one final PAL-specific skip for the road. And there we are. So that is 25 crystals. We'll do a quick pause, make sure we have 97% and that I did not forget anything. It is time to fight Cortex. And this is probably the most anticlimactic final boss fight in the entire Crash series. I'm on a jetpack. He is too. I chase him. 1 hit. 2 more hits, and that's it. And delivering the 3rd hit will be time. There's number 2. Ready on time. And time!
You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot!
So that's Crash 2 100%. Thanks for the GGs. So, yeah, really enjoyed this run. I enjoyed doing it, even if some of the levels were a bit of trouble. Right. I'm reminded of the other cutscene, the real 100% ending. If we have time, I can let these credits play and then play the like real 100% ending cutscene. Would that be all right? I also see that the timer was never stopped. Okay, we'll just assume we can do it. But while we're waiting for these, yeah, if you enjoyed seeing this run and like what I did, you can find my channel at Stump230. That's Stump230 on Twitch. That's also my name on Twitter. And I look forward to seeing some of you next time I stream. Anyway, we'll be through these credits soon so that we can do the real 100% ending cutscene. I guess I will say hi in chat so that... yeah. That's me. Oh, I did not know I had a sword in this chat. Yeah, Stump230. Thanks so much. Alright, I think we're getting close to the end of these credits. This music, the credit music is just so nice to relax to. after a hard-fought run. Anyway. Well, we got Rio talking to us, so that is extra confirmation we actually got 100%. I see a chat asks, enjoyed the speedrun. Did you ever consider running the remaster? I've played on ST a bit. It just plays so differently from the original that I haven't been able to enjoy it. That's just how things are for me, sorry. I actually have meant to complete a casual 100% of all of those, but yeah, haven't gotten all the way through that, so that'll be just some upcoming stuff on my stream. Anyway, time for that real 100% ending cutscene. Doesn't have the same charm like the originals, exactly.
We are ready, Crash. Would you like to do the honors?
Yep, there goes Cortex's Vortex. So, that was Crash 2 100% with the full true ending cutscene. And thanks so much for watching that, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the runs and tournaments that we're going to have all this week here on PACE Fall 2023. And thanks so much to GSA for having me on to do this.